Hello and welcome to The Life You're Made For. I'm your host, Dr. Heather Pinney. Often our world feels reactive, confusing, and chaotic. On this show, we're going to slow down together. Take a breath, listen, and learn. We'll be joined in conversations with influential thinkers who will help us make new connections, understand our unique potential, check the beliefs we hold, and learn how to overcome unexpected challenges. I know that each and every one of us holds our own inner clarity, confidence, and courage, what I call 3C living and leading. So let's go after it together. I'm cheering you on. Hello, Kacee Squires. How are you doing?
Good. How are you, Heather?
I'm doing so great. I've been looking so forward to this conversation for so many reasons, and I'm going to attempt to introduce you.
Okay.
And then you're going to also introduce yourself to the audience. But here's one of my favorite things about Kacee. She is always growing. And I've known Kacee probably several decades now. And as I've promised you all, audience, I'm only bringing on people I personally know and have vetted. And this is a conversation I really want to talk about the holidays. And so Kacee has heard me talk about the holidays. Kacee has been a part of our family unit for a long time ago, where she's gotten to watch us raise our kids, and we've gotten to watch them, and we've gotten to be a part of just some special milestones in each other's lives. And then more recently, last couple of years, Kacee's come on board as my executive assistant, and she now pretty much organizes and runs my life behind the scenes and has made me feel so sane for the last couple of years. So grateful for Kacee on so many levels. And she's the one I wanted to talk to today, just saying, hey, what's our holidays all about? So before we jump into the topic, Kacee, go ahead and share a little bit of who you are and what you do.
Hi, everyone. I am Kacee Squires. I am a wife of 18 years. I'm a mom of 3 incredible daughters in the fun years of 14, 11 and a half, and 11 and a half. I am Heather's executive assistant in my spare time. I'm also a homeschool mom. So whatever order you want to mix it in, it's part of my daily life, and I love it.
Oh.
So that's a little bit about me.
And if you heard her say 11 and a half and 11 and a half, because she has twins.
Yeah. Sometimes I play with people and say, 14 and 11 and a half. And people just look at me because I also said 3. So I'll just solve the mystery ahead of time.
Yeah. I loved how you said that 11 and a half and 11 and a half.
Yep.
And I love her daughters too. Just sweet, sweet souls, and working so hard and very bright. And I think the Squires get to take a bow and say, you're welcome, world, for investing in these amazing individuals that are really going to be a part of positive contributors to our world, and already are. So even at all the events, they're always there right behind the scenes, helping out mom and dad and me and just all this fun stuff. So the Squires is just a special family to me. And I have just been so excited about having her on my show today, because we have talked about the holidays. And I think that's where I want to jump in. There are so many beautiful things that happen around the holidays, but boy, in the work I do, there's a lot of beautiful challenges. So before we jump into the challenges, Kacee, we're going to start talking a little bit about some of the beautiful challenges. Like, what are some fun holiday traditions that you have?
Awesome. Okay. Well, my most favorite holiday tradition is the night before Advent. Have you heard of this, Heather?
No, I don't think I have.
Okay, so an author, her name is Anne Voskamp, has this Advent book series, and she publishes the night before Advent, and it's free printables. But the whole concept is preparing your hearts and your family for the Advent season that's to come. And it's just a hot chocolate party, but it is so much fun because even though my girls are 14 and 11 and a half, we don't necessarily pull out all of the sprinkles and the whipped cream and the marshmallows every single time we have hot chocolate. So it's this sweet time where I pull out all of the yummy toppings and we overindulge and we fill our mugs, and then we read this poem that just kind of lays the foundation to the Advent season. Because every day together we do come together and we do read a little bit. It's not long. But just as our family devotion time together. So that is hands down my favorite tradition of all. But of course, I love the fun, regular things like looking at Christmas lights. Old Sacramento has a reading where they do, 'Twas the Night Before Christmas,
Mm.
and they act that out. And so we do that every year. So those are a few of our favorites.
I didn't even know that was happening in Sacramento. Thank you for telling
Oh,
me.
I'm sorry I didn't tell you. I will let you know when it comes. And
Please do. I've only
yeah,
lived here for 20 years.
I know it's normally Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, weather dependent, but
Oh,
it's just lots of fun.
oh, that is so cool. And in the show notes, we'll put the connections for the Voss Camp because I love her
Perfect.
work too. Yeah.
Me
So
too.
we'll make sure you said it was free PDF.
Yep.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah. I love celebrating Advent and just making it meaningful. So, and I think that's really the joys of the season. What does it mean to us and why are we actually celebrating it? And then what are the joys of just coming together as family and some of the traditions that we have for little kids, we start kind of outgrowing them a little bit. And
Yes.
I'll give you an example for me. You know, both of my kids are in college and they're adult kids now. And the stockings and the presents and Christmas morning, so magical. It's not as magical when they're like 21 and 23, Kacee. It's just like we lost some of the magic there. And so
Yeah.
part of the Christmas tradition that we had to kind of pivot to is saying, hey, what do you guys want to do for Christmas? What we realized with 4 busy lives, we weren't able to get a summer vacation anymore. So we now take a Christmas vacation because everybody's off.
I love
So
that.
yeah, last couple of years we've been going to Hawaii. We're going to Hawaii again, and we're spending literally over Christmas. You know, I think we leave the 23rd and we're getting back around the 29th, but we're spending Christmas over there singing Mele Kalikimaka.
I love that. That's so fun.
Isn't that fun? And we'll probably return to traditional Christmas again, but it's really being aware of what is it that the seasons are kind of changing. And I'm curious, is there any kind of traditions you grew out of as your kids? Because you've got a teenager now.
Yes, for
Yeah.
sure. Actually, what I found last year was the magic started to change at 13 and it started to hit home just a little bit differently. So
Yeah.
this year I actually paused and I asked my girls individually, hey, what is important to you this Christmas season? What are 3 things that you just really have to do? And the other reason I kind of highlighted this too is because my oldest birthday is in December. So not only are we doing all of the fun Christmas stuff, but we also paused to celebrate her birthday at the beginning of the month. So I asked them this year, like, what are 3 things that you really want to do to celebrate Christmas? And what do you not want to do? And they kind of are like, well, they gave me their 3 favorites, but they didn't really have anything for sure that they didn't want to do. But what I took note of is how it felt from last year. And since they didn't mention it, for example, our town has a Santa that drives through the town 3 different nights. They break the city up into 3 parts and you can watch the route. And we would go, normally we would watch Polar Express before. And then we'd bundle up and we'd go out and watch him drive by, and they have a fire truck. It's all super fun. But last year, it just wasn't the same magic. And so this year, I'm like, we don't actually need to do this. Not because it's not good and fun and beautiful. It's all of those things, but it just doesn't have the same meaning to my children. And I don't have to do it. So we're going to do something else instead.
I love that. I think the takeaway that both you and I are realizing, and I think we're giving ourselves permission of this as mothers, is not sticking to just the tradition for the tradition's sake, really reading the room and then checking with our children to say, are you still enjoying this holiday tradition? Is there a new one you want? And to be able to have that conversation, this is where I see a lot of misery start seeping in, where mothers forget, and even fathers, both parents forget that we don't have to do these traditions just to like, for the sake of doing it. We have other people that have joined our family and that really want to start weighing in. I know for this Thanksgiving, my kids have voted, they have vetoed a Thanksgiving meal. And I was like, I'm fine with that. What else do we want to have? And we all wanted to have, I think, braised short ribs is I think what we're going to be doing.
Ooh.
I know. Sounds great.
That sounds delicious.
I know. My husband's the only one that's bummed. So I said, we could do both. We could put a turkey in and have some braised short ribs because he's the one that really misses the turkey. But, again, just kind of reading the room and helping people be a part of keeping the magic, because that's really the magic, right? Is that we're connected and we love each other. And if we're just going through the motions of one more tradition or one more thing that isn't really a fit for our family anymore, or for where the season of life is, I think we've lost the magic of the season then.
Agreed, for sure. And it's just beautiful because you want to honor your relationship with them
Yeah.
and your relationship as a family unit.
Yes. Yes. Well, one of the things you and I have both discussed over the years, and you've heard me talk about it too, we love all the things that come with the holidays, and that comes with extended family and friends
Yeah.
and parties and so many things. I was amazed with having kids, just even the additional holiday parties and connections
Mm-hmm.
that they have just for the kids. And my husband and I have all these different connections. And we got to the point with our friend group, we started saying, could we just wait till after the holidays before we try and get together? Can we
Right.
pause on this? Because we have a lot we're trying to keep up with the holidays. So I think that's the thing too, just kind of learning how to say what it is you want. But one of the things I've noticed is we get so into the holidays and the performance of the holidays, we stop being present.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to say, and I know you and I have talked about this over the years of saying, okay, wait a minute, we're not doing this just to keep up with the holidays. We want to be present, whatever that means, whether it's to really focus on Advent, the reason for the season, whether it's really focusing on the fact that your kids are coming home and I want them to have a wonderful time coming home and whatever it is. But I want to say, what is it that you do to remind yourself to stay present instead of performing?
Two different things. One, I'm a planner. I'm a planner by nature, but I find that if I plan ahead and not stress planning, because
Mm-hmm.
man, I've done those Christmas seasons where I'm planning, but it's like, oh, what do I need for tomorrow? That's not planning. That's very anxiety building for me. So if I give myself the time to sit down and plan ahead, plan what I need for the gifts, plan what I'm going to need for the special occasions to be able to physically enjoy it, then I
Mm-hmm.
can be present in the moment versus thinking like, okay, I'm here right now, but tomorrow, man, I really need to bring some cookies and I haven't made those. Am I going to bake them? Am I going to run to the store?
Mm-hmm.
Like my mind is not there.
Mm-hmm.
So for me personally, it's planning ahead. And
Mm.
then once you're physically in the space, one thing my husband Jason does, and I really love this, and he does it and I don't, but I'll explain why, is he puts his phone on do not disturb. So when we
Mm.
are at a family function, or if it's just the five of us, like Christmas morning, he puts his phone so somebody can call, somebody can text, but it actually won't ring through unless it's a very select few in case of an emergency. And most of
Mm.
the time, he'll even put his phone away. Now, I already admitted I don't do that. That's because I'm the photographer in our family. I'm the one who takes the pictures. So my phone will be on silent.
Yeah.
And it's just being very intentional not to open it up and start
Mm.
scrolling and like, well, what's everybody else doing? No, we're not going to do that comparison thing.
Yeah.
I'm only holding my phone to be a camera. And so
Mm.
being very mindful of that as well.
I
Just
love
kind
that.
of, yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing how much technology can interrupt our lives and to be so intentional with that. And then what you're doing is you're modeling for your kids. You know, we want them to put their phones away,
Right.
right? And my teenage kids, I'm like, this is a phone-free zone. This is what's going to keep us present. What's on front of that screen is not reality. It's fake.
Yeah.
What's right here where you can touch and see and breathe and everything, this is reality. So
Mm-hmm.
it's modeling for them not only to keep themselves grounded in reality, but to not miss some really special times where their head was buried in something that wasn't even reality.
Right.
I love that. Love that. One of the things I noticed too is like what invitations to say yes to, what to say no to.
Mm-hmm.
So Darren and I had this wonderful, beautiful, amazing challenge of being so loved on both sides of our family.
Right. It's fun and beautiful.
It is. And being married 32 years, but it was somewhere probably around year 5 where we looked at each other and said, I don't know if we can do this. 2 Thanksgivings, 2 Christmases,
Mm-hmm.
how do we navigate this better? And how do we communicate this well? And so one of the things we had to learn to do is just how to speak up to our extended family that says, oh my gosh, we love hanging out with you. However, we're not able to keep up with the space. Can we share different holiday spaces or can we stagger it a little bit more? I mean, we had those conversations and it was so great because when we had kids 9 years later, we had a whole nother conversation we had to have, which was we were
Yeah.
trying to still keep up with the 2 extended families and they were both they're only an hour apart. So we felt this like, we can do this.
Yeah.
But one Christmas, we were on the road, I think around 8, trying to do Christmas in the morning with one family and then Christmas with the other family around afternoon. Our kids were so cranky. We were cranky. And it's
Hmm.
like, you talk about missing the season, and I just said, we can do this better. Again, this was nothing that our extended family did. They just didn't realize what
Right.
we were facing, and we had to do better at communicating. Here's what will really set us up for a win. So it was like ongoing conversations, even up to this day, 32 years of marriage. We
Yeah.
just, okay, how are we talking with all the cousins, which again, family only grows. So we've got cousins and
Right.
nieces and nephews and all these amazing people that we want to have. But I guess that's the question I want to have with you or ask really is, how do you navigate all of these beautiful people that want to connect with us in a way that still takes care of your family unit and doesn't
Hmm.
put you in obligation mode?
Right. Well, what Jason and I have found, because we do make these decisions together, is we just ask ourselves questions.
Mm,
And this is not just for family invitations, but just like the
mm,
whole month long of how do you
mm,
navigate what to put on your calendar and what not to.
mm,
So we ask ourselves, how does this invitation make me feel? Because a lot of
mm,
times we just have a
mm,
gut reaction, and it can be to the actual event itself. It could just be the timing of the event, like, oh, I already have things going on that
mhm.
day. How how does that actually make me feel? Another thing that I've asked myself is, will this event bring me joy?
Oh, I love
Will it
that.
bring my husband joy to attend this? Will it bring my children joy?
Mm,
Either because it's connecting with someone we haven't seen in a long
mhm,
time and we really want to.
mhm,
Maybe it's an activity that they absolutely love to
mm,
do. So if it brings us joy, I probably will give a little leeway to a
mm,
full day, knowing that it's our heart's desire to do it.
mhm, mm,
But then, big picture is, will I personally or my family be at their best
mm,
if we go to this?
mhm,
So
mhm,
I don't want to just show up to mark a box. If
mm,
I'm there, like we talked about before, I want to be fully present and engaged. And your
mhm.
story, just like everybody was cranky. No one wants to go be with the cranky people.
Yeah.
They love you. They would accept you.
Yes.
But that's really in the holiday season. Like, that's
Yeah.
not you at your best. That wouldn't be me at my best. So we just
Yes.
kind of filter all of the things through. And one other thing we kind of look at, and I think I kind of
Mhm,
mentioned it already, is just looking at our calendar.
mhm,
If I have 4 days of events in the evening going
mhm,
on, probably shouldn't say yes to another one. I probably need to
mm,
think about rest
mhm,
for me, for my kids, or making sure if we're going to do 4 late evenings that we have the time, and we
mhm,
have the beauty of homeschool. So we are able to flex our schedule
mhm,
to sleep in or to reduce our workload that day and bring it over to another one.
mm,
And I know that's super special because we do homeschool.
mhm,
Like I said, my husband works as an independent contractor and has his own
mhm.
business. So we really have that beauty of flexibility. But if I didn't, I don't know what I would do.
Yeah.
I'd probably say no to even more. But
Oh, yeah. I love those questions because you're right on. Nobody wants the cranky family. We don't want to be showing up that way. And I want to repeat those questions because they're so good. How does this invite make me feel? Will this event bring us joy? And will my family be at their best when we show up? Did I get those three?
you did.
Okay, those were so good. And I wanted to repeat that for our audience because you'll notice that those questions are filters not out of obligation. How will my mother feel about this? What will
Hmm.
my grandparents think? What will cousin Bob, say
Right.
about me? These were not the filter questions that
No.
Kacee had there because those are our only filter questions. And I'm not saying to disregard our family's feelings. That's not what I'm saying at all. But if those are our only filter questions and we're not assessing our own joy level, our family showing up at their best, the invites that we're just excited about, if we're not assessing that, what we're doing is we're giving over our sense of agency, our power, and more importantly, our joy to something that is not really a fit for us and our family. And then the tendency is that we can kind of start villainizing some of these people, which is not any of their fault. They just love us. But we
Mhm.
got to take ownership and responsibility for these new filters that are really transcendent. They're higher level to say, well, typically we've done this, but now that I've got and I remember this is a newborn baby and a 2-year-old. I literally said, I'm so sorry. We cannot be on the road. Would you mind
Mhm.
coming to us? Or we will be at this one house. Would everyone mind coming here? It was learning how to say these things that would really support our family unit at that time and the support our joy level. Or saying, we can't do everyone this Christmas. Can we circle around a New Year? Or can we do this family over at Thanksgiving, this one over at Christmas? It's learning how to really have that assessment first so that you can have really the loving boundaries that you need to set for yourself and your family.
Right. And some of it for us has come through experience. Like we've lived a holiday season and afterwards we're like, man, that's was good and beautiful, but that wasn't quite right. That did not hit the mark for what we want for our family. And so when we enter the holiday season the following year, we kind of stop and reflect. One example from years ago was I'm an only child for perspective, and my husband is one of three, but we all do live for the most part within an hour. He has a brother who lives in SoCal, but always comes up for the holidays. And so, we had traditions when it was just the two of us. Then we had our first daughter, and her first year, maybe it was our second year with her, we went to 3 houses in one day for Thanksgiving. And looking back, I was like, what were we thinking? But honestly, we just were so excited. And I'm pretty sure it was her first year. We were just so excited for it to be her first Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
We wanted everyone to see her. We wanted everyone to hang out. And it was good and it was beautiful. But I also realized I didn't actually connect deeply with any of my family because we were at every single place for such a short time. And so even though we loved it, we also didn't love it. So we've kind of reassessed and reevaluated over the years. And it has changed with our kids' ages and with their abilities and with our energy level and even with our health, There was one season where my husband was just in the middle of finding a diagnosis, and he is fine now. But in that season for Christmas, the doctor really, had us pause and said, I recommend you not go out and see all of your family this year. I know that's hard, but it puts him at some health risks in order to do a surgery in the future. And if he gets sick, that could be delayed. And so we had to say no. And that was hard. We wanted to see all the people and do all of the things, but it's just recognizing everything has a season. And so finding the right fit.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. And one of the most important things that you modeled here, and it's what we do also as a couple, is assessing after the event. It's the number one thing I coach couples on and families in is just, okay, you just endured that holiday. Are we going to repeat this behavior for the next holiday? There's that almost that automatic response that people go, oh, all right, thank God I just survived that holiday. And they don't realize that that's their golden moment to stop and really assess, hey, what did I learn? 3 houses is probably not the best fit for me. Maybe I shoot for one, or maybe I can do one for the morning and one for dessert later. Finding out what that looks like for you and reassessing what you just learned from versus powering through and just showing up at the next holiday. And what I've been amazed at is people will do that year after year after year. And I think in the work that I do with people, and I literally have coached people around the holidays, is you get to assess how you feel after walking away from that event or from that conversation or that experience. And then you get to decide what you're going to do next year or for your next event. You're going to decide what it is that works better for your family. And it's that one little step that will change the whole trajectory for how you show up for your life and how you show up for really the holidays.
Yeah, I love that. I think I learned this phrase from you many years ago, but I don't want to just survive the holidays. I want to thrive.
Yeah.
Reflecting really helps you do that. It's not easy.
Yeah.
But I've also left in tears at times, and for no one else's fault except for mine, for the expectations I had, the dreams I had, how it didn't get fulfilled in that way, and just wanting better.
Yeah. Well said. Well said. So what's one boundary that changed everything for you? And what helps you keep it?
So again, I followed Heather for years on social media. I mean, we've already said we've known each other for
Yes.
years. And then she started her business, and I went to her retreats.
Mm-hmm.
And then I followed her on socials, all the fun things before I got to start working with her. But one of the things before I got to start working with you that I saw just post in a season that I needed it during the holidays was that I get to enjoy the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, really? I get to enjoy them? It was such a
Mm-hmm.
freedom to have the permission for someone to say, again, I don't have to survive. I get to I get to choose.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I absolutely loved it. It also makes me think of your book, The Bracelets, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I just had all of these holiday bracelets and
Mm-hmm.
expectations of things that I had to do.
Mm-hmm.
And reading that one post was like, oh, no, I get to enjoy it. I get to examine all of our traditions. I get to say no if it's
Mm-hmm.
not the right fit in this season or
Mm-hmm.
just in general.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so that I think for me is like, I get to say no and I get to enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. I
So
love
how
that.
do I hold it? I hold it by looking at those bracelets and really considering,
Mm-hmm.
is this the right fit? Will my family, going back to those
Mm-hmm.
questions when deciding the invitations
Mm-hmm.
to accept or not, and realizing it's okay
Mm-hmm.
for traditions to change.
Yes.
It doesn't mean they weren't good. It doesn't mean they
Mm-hmm.
weren't beautiful. They were, but I
Mm-hmm.
also get to accept new traditions. And
Yes.
so, yeah.
I love that. Yeah, one of the things Darren and I realize is that you have to contend for joy.
Mm.
You don't just drift into it. It's something you have to be intentional about and you have to contend for it. And we believe that not just around the holidays, we believe that for every day of our life, for the work we do. Once the joy starts ebbing away, we get to stop and really reassess. Wait a minute. Is this the work that I want to be doing? Am I still aligned with my calling and my purpose? Am I spending the days that I want to? Am I enjoying the holidays like I want to? And certainly there's days that we have to just pull ourselves up and do what needs to get done.
Right.
But there's so much more autonomy and space and margin to really reflect and say, what is bringing me joy and really what's sabotaging my joy? And to be able to really do that, particularly around the holidays, it's a massive paradigm shift, but it's life changing. And not only have we done that around the holidays, but another one I've added is I get to release. It's my true belief. I think the pressure I put on myself as a mother at times is got to create the perfect experience.
Yeah.
And I even turned to my husband yesterday and said, do we want to even put up the tree this year? Now, I'm someone who loves Christmas, loves the trees. I love shopping. I love wrapping presents.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a son who's a minimalist and he's just not that impressed with presents. So I was like, I got to respect that this isn't his thing. And I'm like, what is his
Mm-hmm.
thing? He loves experiences. He loves doing travel. I have a grown daughter now who's saying, I'd rather have experience than a new computer. I'd rather have this. And I think, wasn't that what we want? Isn't that what we
Yeah.
raised our kids to want experiences over things? And if I sit
Mm-hmm.
there and keep pushing the Christmas morning experience, even though I loved it, I was like, it'll be about me. And to be able to say, no, I get to release some of these traditions, even if I love them and create new traditions with the people that I love, which is right now we're in the season of traveling. And we're having everybody come home for Thanksgiving, but the 4 pennies are popping on a plane and we're just hopping off because we've also found that sometimes when we just gather our little family together and take off, we can experience and enjoy the holidays that we need to for our family nucleus instead of getting so distracted by all the different events or invitations or things that we feel sometimes we're showing up to. But I'm like, are we really getting the family time that we want and need?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's that idea of I get to enjoy it, but I also get to release. And sometimes I have to mourn things,
Right.
I love the stockings. I don't know what it is about me, but I love the little stockings. We didn't do stockings last year. I don't think we're going to do it this year, but it's that awareness that that's not where our family is. And I'm looking further down the line. I think I'll have grandkids one day and, I'll get
Yay.
to return to some of these things that I love
Mm-hmm.
and do. But at the same hand, to be able to say, I get to really release that pressure to have a certain experience in my mind's eye that no one else maybe has, or no one else really wants. And so to be able to just let myself release some things and just say, okay, it gets to look different this year. And we get to really honor what it looks like for us to enjoy the holidays.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. We
Mm.
have done similar things over the years with extended family.
Mm-hmm.
Having three daughters, they have myself, my three
Mm-hmm.
children, not three daughters. Yeah, three daughters. We have cousins. And so we've gone through years where, okay, we're going to buy all of the cousins gifts and do
Mm-hmm.
exchanging.
Mm.
And then we did realize very similarly to you with your kids
Mm-hmm.
of we actually only get a few days together
Mm-hmm.
because they live in SoCal.
Mm-hmm.
What if we just do something together? We've gone
Mm.
to the zoo, we've gone to the movies, we've
Yeah.
built gingerbread houses together. Like, let's make the memory instead
Mm-hmm.
of necessarily just giving each other the thing that will be forgotten in a few
Yes.
months.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And it is pretty funny, Kacee, when you think about it, especially with older kids. They open the present, we all look, hey, and then we're like, we're on to the next thing. Like, how
yeah.
much joy did that really give us? Like a couple seconds of, yay, I got to open the present. But again, it's that awareness of it's doing life together that
Mhm.
brings so much joy. And so putting that energy and even our resources and our money into, wait a minute, what's an experience? Hawaii is not cheap for a family of four,
No.
but that we're going to forego all the Christmas presents. And the kids voted on that. You know, they don't feel deprived. They're like, oh, we'd
Right.
rather have Hawaii than a Christmas morning. So Darren and I looked at each other and said, what are we doing? I think we'd rather
Yeah.
have Hawaii too. So we're totally embracing this and letting that be the season of where we're at right now and being intentional about when we want to have that nucleus time of just
Mhm.
us and our two kids and when we want to have that extended family time. And so I think that's where I want to go next is like, how do you navigate that with, I know you have the same beautiful problem that we have, which is a wonderful problem, is so much extended family. But how do you
Mhm.
navigate those waters of wanting to connect with all your family, extended family over the holidays, and still wanting to really respect the nucleus that you need to have with you, just your family?
Well, a lot of my family has very tight traditions, and I
Mm,
don't say tight in a negative way, but they just have this schedule.
mm,
So my mom's side has always met at the same time
mm,
every single year since before I was born.
mm,
Equally, my dad's family has their time and their traditions of
mm,
when they have holidays, and that's been since
mm,
before I was born. And my husband's family, it has kind of wavered over the years. Sometimes it's before Christmas,
mm,
sometimes it's after. Um, Sometimes it's also been on the day. It kind of just fluctuates based on when the
mhm,
family can drive up and fits in their schedule. So,
mhm,
what we learned over the years was if we don't go on certain days, it
mhm,
means we don't see the family that particular
mm,
season in that year, which is fine. But it
mhm,
allowed us to just be very intentional with
mm,
our choices and kind of gave us a lens versus trying to stress of how are we going to do all of it. We
mhm,
could look for our nucleus of a family and say,
mhm,
okay, this year, what is going to work for our
mhm,
family? What's going to provide the right balance? What do we have the energy for? Um,
mhm,
so we do show up, at our
mhm,
best
mhm,
versus just marking
mhm.
that box off.
I love it. I love that you keep saying marking that box off because it's almost like people are living in this fog of I got to get these presents, got to wrap everything, I got to go shopping, I got to show up at these events.
Mhm.
And I think that was the shock where Darren and I looked around and we were a young couple saying, you guys seem miserable.
Yeah.
That is not the journey we want for any of our holidays, much less for any our life. And holidays are really beautiful milestones that mark certain periods of the year to stop and reflect, like on
Mhm.
Advent, and to stop and be grateful around Thanksgiving, to stop and really recognize the hope that we get to live around with Easter. I mean, there's beautiful reasons of why we celebrate those holidays. How are we engaging with those reasons in a way that really honors our faith, our journey, our personhood, our what we want to model and teach our kids? And so to have that intentionality, I think is so critical because our kids are watching us.
Right?
Yeah, they're looking for really, why are we doing this again? Is this for the Easter Bunny? Is this for Santa Claus? I mean, and we're
Yeah.
like, as much as we want to have some fun with some of those things, we also want to remind them there's so much deeper reasons of
Mhm.
why we show up Thanksgiving, and it's not just about the turkey. It's really to have gratitude, you
For
know,
sure.
and it's really to honor these reasons that are deep and the hope that we get to live with for these seasons. Hmm. Well, Kacee, it's been so fun having you. I guess I want to say, as we leave people here, what is something you want to encourage them with? They might be listening to this and they might be anywhere in their journey of like this idea of what I get to enjoy my holidays, which I do get to meet a lot of people and it's like this shock and awe. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of whisper to them, plant the seed. And then I'm like, I'll talk to you next week and see how it goes. But what kind of encouragement do you want to leave them? And some might really be enjoying their holidays. Some might be somewhere just recognizing for the first time that they get to enjoy their holidays.
I would love to remind everyone that the holidays are good and beautiful, and they can be hard, and they can have so many emotions. And it's okay to have both emotions at one holiday. One holiday, Christmas morning, we woke up to the phone call. I want to say it was like 2 or 3 in the morning that my grandma had passed away. And so there was that tension, especially that morning of like, we slept a few more hours and we woke up and my children knew my grandmother was sick, right? So it was not a shock at all. We knew her time was coming to an end. But that Christmas day, especially, we held the tension of there is joy with the traditions and watching the kids open presents and going and being with extended family. And there was also this deep sadness that she was no longer here with us. But we also were living her legacy of love. So as you go through the Christmas season and all of the holidays and the hustle and bustle, I would just encourage you to take a few minutes and just examine for yourself, is this the holiday I want? And if it's not, that's okay. You have permission to change it. And if it is, keep at it, but recognizing it's okay to change over the years. And for sure, just take the time to reflect. Either now, before it happens, if you feel like, oh, this is not right, it's okay to make a change. And it's okay to look afterwards and say, I think I want to do this better and make a note of it.
Well said. Well said. Yeah, I do. I want to piggyback on that. For those of you who are experiencing maybe your first holiday season without a loved one. Gosh, I still remember mine without my dad and just the heartache that was. And I just want to honor that space and say, take what you need for this kind of holiday. It's okay if it shifts. And the other thing I want to say is, and it's okay if everything stays the same. You're allowed to still be happy in the middle of the sadness. You can hold both the joy and you can hold both the sorrow. We have that amazing capacity as human beings. And so you don't have to feel guilty if you start feeling the joy too. I don't ever know where you're at, but I know sometimes heartache is really challenging around the holiday seasons. And I just want to honor where everyone's at and just encourage them. What Kacee said, ask yourself, is this the holiday I need? And what holiday do I need? And what holiday do I want for myself for this year? You get to ask that every single year.
For sure.
Oh, Kacee, it's been such a joy having you. I knew I asked the right person to be on the show.
Thank you for having me. It's been so much fun talking about the holidays.
All right, everybody. Kacee and I are cheering you on. Thanks so much for listening in. It was a great conversation, wasn't it? Wow. Check the show notes for any additional resources. Also, maybe where to find our guests. And if you've enjoyed the show, please subscribe and leave a review. It sure helps us out. Thanks so much. We are always cheering you on.